What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Liao with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's consumer price index is expected to rise by more than 3% this month. A major milk brand is the latest company to announce a price hike. Liao reports on how people in the capital are coping with the soaring cost of living.
On the streets of Taiwan's capital, Taipei, consumers are growing disgruntled.
现在台湾物价什么都在涨，像是很需要的鸡蛋啊。
以前1000块去买东西1个礼拜的生活费的菜钱，现在1000块去2天就没有了。
有涨啊，但薪水没涨啊。
Among the most recent price hikes, Taiwan's most popular milk brand has said it will be adding at least 2 yuan or 60 US cents onto the price of their products. Which means a morning cup of coffee is going to set back consumers more than usual.
因为成本太高了，所以我们只能反映在售价上面。
Experts have warned a hike in energy prices for industry implemented this month is also likely to drive up everyday prices.
Consumers around the world are feeling the pinch. A boom in consumption after 2 years of pandemic restrictions and the war in Ukraine affecting supply chains has pushed up the price of fuel and food worldwide. Here in Taiwan, the consumer price index has increased by 3% for more than 4 months. And experts say prices are going to continue to rise.
With food inflation hitting close to 7%, Taiwan's government last month launched a zero hunger project, selling subsidized meals to struggling citizens. But local authorities say they expect the cost of international oil to go down in the second half of the year, which should ease spiraling expenses.
相较于去年的一个 CPI 的一个基期，以及目前国际原物料价格的一个走势来看的话，6月会是最高，7、8、9月呢会慢慢的往下，但是这个速度不会很快，大概11月左右呢会有机会呢来到这个央行设定的这个2.0% 以下。
But until then, all Taiwanese can do is tighten their purse strings. Chris Ma, Ken Ning, and Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Environmental group Greenpeace is calling on Taiwan's government to outline how it plans to eliminate single-use plastics by 2030. In 2018, Taiwan announced a plan for a blanket ban on single-use plastics like cups, shopping bags, and utensils by 2030. But on Tuesday, Greenpeace said local businesses feel the government isn't giving them enough support to reach that goal. Starting this month, most vendors of takeout drinks must give customers a discount equivalent to about 17 US cents if they bring their own reusable cup. A Russian and a Chinese warship approached the disputed Diaoyutai Islands on Monday. Taiwan claims the uninhabited islands, as do China and Japan. Japan refers to the island chain as the Senkaku Islands. On Tuesday, Taiwan's foreign ministry reiterated Taiwan's sovereignty over the islands and the country's determination to defend its territory. The ministry also said Taiwan is committed to resolving the issue of the islands' sovereignty in a peaceful way. Taiwan has begun 3 days of live fire exercises in the southern county of Pingtung. The annual military drills, dubbed Mighty Eagle, focus on using helicopters to shoot targets in the air and sea. Taiwan's army and special forces will deploy a range of attack and anti-submarine helicopters to test combat readiness and practice using precision weapon systems. Military officials say all the country's helicopter models will be used in the exercises.
及这一周陆航的空用武器，包含了响尾蛇、刺针跟地狱火等飞弹，将陆军现役的精准弹药实施全面性的训练成果总验收，对于提升战力有非常大的帮助。
40-year-old Taiwanese pop singer Zhu Lijing has died after a 2-year battle with breast cancer. Zhu won the 2009 Taiwan Super Idol singing competition, launching her into stardom. She also had several top 100 singles. Before her death, Zhu advocated for breast cancer awareness. Cancer is the #1 killer in Taiwan, according to the health ministry, with breast cancer being the most common form of the disease for women. The ministry advises women to get routine checkups or do regular self-examinations. Ukraine's prime minister says the country will need $750 billion to rebuild following Russia's invasion. To find out more about continuing efforts to support Ukraine here in Taiwan, our reporter James Chater spoke with Alex Homenko. He's with the independent group Taiwan Stands with Ukraine. Alex led near daily protests outside the Moscow Trade Office in central Taipei for the first 100 days of the Russian offensive.
Could you talk a little bit about some of the tangible impacts your work for Ukraine has had so far?
I would say the tangible impacts of our work are twofold. I think number one is we have created a lot of awareness here in Taiwan of our actions of Ukraine, of the support of Ukraine. And number two, we have collected quite a bit of money. Our organization, I think, has passed definitely north of 500,000 NT at this point of the money we've collected through various fundraising causes. One thing we've done is we helped a small factory in the west of Ukraine buy high-grade sewing machines that they're using to produce uniforms and protective gear for territorial defense forces. We also worked with somebody in the Mariupol area. Somebody is here, but is from there, to distribute altogether, I think, more than 1 million NT in aid to families fleeing Mariupol, to refugees, in small grants, about 3,000 NT per family.
Why have some Ukrainian activists in Taiwan decided to work outside of the official government platforms in sending donations to Ukraine?
Early on, when the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had a very successful fundraising drive, they have earmarked a lot of that money for refugee organizations in Europe, working through the partner governments that Taiwan has already had relationships with, which I think was the best they could have done at the moment on short notice. But for us, for Ukrainians here, I think we really wanted the aid to flow to Ukraine directly, because that's where people are in the most need and need the most help. So we both worked with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to actually help them find ways to deliver some of their aid directly to Ukraine, and also started working on a lot of our own efforts through the Taiwan Stands with Ukraine organization and through some personal projects that Ukrainians in Taiwan have been working on to really find ways to send help directly to Ukraine, to smaller organizations on the ground that we know through our community and we trust.
Are you concerned at all that attention fatigue toward the war in Ukraine is setting in? And if so, how do you plan on combating this?
Absolutely, and it's absolutely exhausting. What we plan to do is we plan to continue protesting and putting on events to keep Ukraine in the news, generate as much social media and press here in Taiwan as possible to make sure that people just have the news coming from Ukraine, and they know that the war is still going on and the help is still needed.
A company in the United States has used artificial intelligence to design a high-performance supercar that could be the next step in auto evolution.
So just like nature optimizes for material and energy, and you see these organic structures that emerge, that's the same thing we've done here, but in metal structures. And instead of taking millions of years to iterate and find that efficiency point, we've taken minutes. So in the end, we're not designing these to look organic, bone-like, biological. They just actually look biological because biological is efficient, and these structures are perfectly efficient.
The company used AI to develop much of the car with a process that mimics biological evolution on a much shorter timescale. The result is the model's 21C, a hybrid electric vehicle with a 3D printed structure. The car has a top speed of 400 kilometers per hour and can go from 0 to 100 in just 1.9 seconds. The developers expect their method to spread to other industries such as defense and aerospace. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of the Timber Sports World Championship in France, including events like the stalk saw, underhand chop, single buck, and standing block chop. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.